So there's a lot of dumb, weird, goofy men out here, and I'm not talking about the cliche like, you know, their personality or the hobbies they have. As a teenager, there were things I saw and witnessed that made me cringe to this day, as I remember them, and I refuse to go down that same path. And I'm not talking about my uncle's choice and clothing styles and stuff like that. It's more or less like the decisions and the behavior and the mindset that some of my peers and my elders had. So ever since I consciously decided to embark on this journey of self-improvement, I practice learning from other people's mistakes daily. Like the quote, employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings, so that you shall gain easily what others have labored hard for, is a quote from Socrates that I keep in the forefront of my mind every day. And to be honest, it's genuinely improved my life and helped me achieve personal and professional goals. Not to say my life was in shambles before it, but it was definitely, I definitely was bumping my head along the way. A lot of which caused me to be back at home with my mom out of necessity. Not even because I wanted to, like I liked her home, I missed her home cooking and everything, but necessity. This was the first time in my young adult life I was actually forced to deal with the consequences of my decisions, my mindset, and my behavior. You know, coming up, I didn't have a lot of positive male role models in my life. So a lot of my learning was definitely through trial and error. And being back home with my mom after 3 years after I moved out, was definitely proof of it. Simply put, I shouldn't have moved out in the first place. And I never should have done it with a woman. Not because it's a woman, but just because, you know, as a man, you're supposed to stand on your own first before being able to. It's not even that you're supposed to stand on your own first. I should have had my own thing going. It would have worked better for me in that regard.
Message!
But yeah, I never should have moved out the house as early as I did. I also didn't have the right financial situation to protect me in the long run. And sad to say, like most of us do, I operated off of love would be enough. And guess what? It really wasn't. The fucked up thing is, I've seen the same situation play out so many times with men in my family, like my uncles and my older cousins. And of course, me being me, like anybody does, they think they're going to be the exception to the rule, and they're not. I definitely wasn't.
Nope.
So yeah. What was worse was that after all of that, I was I was in debt because of my actions. Had to pull myself out of it. Well, needed to pull myself out of it and find a way to get back out of mom's house, because I did not want to stay there. Like, you're not getting no pussy in your mom's house like that. Not at 24. Like, it's, I mean, maybe there's some people out here that is, but I wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? So, hey, shout out to y'all. But, you know, it was only through me feeling embarrassed and being forced to sit, if you will, that I decided to change. That change started with educating myself when it came to finances. I I became calculated with my decisions and took into account possibility over probability. I also used more discernment. I became obsessed with learning lessons, even if they weren't my direct lessons. And that's kind of the moral of, not the moral, but that's kind of where I'm trying to get at. Like, yeah, some of the lessons, to me, in my opinion, the lessons that stick the hardest are the ones you learn personally, and hopefully you're able to overcome them, and get a great deal of knowledge from it, right? But that same knowledge can be gained just by observing others, and that's kind of what I started to do. Not kind of started to do, but that's what I started to do at that point. I started to look within. I was learning from myself. Like, how did I get myself in this situation? What was the determining factor? And straight to the point, aside from not being financially set up and thinking love, quote unquote, will conquer all, the root of it is I didn't have it figured out like I thought I had it figured out. And for me to move out, it would have been best for me to do it on my own and not, shacking up, if you will. Just the way that things turned out, always have your own as a man. They'll respect you for it, you'll respect yourself. That's what I learned from that particular situation. Learned a lot. But yeah, I became obsessed with learning lessons, even though they weren't my direct lessons. I started to study people around me. Like, what's their background? Why would they ever make that decision? What was the outcome? And at the core, I've become more observant. And at times, yes, it can be a little overwhelming because the world is full of people that make bad decisions, and the internet has no shortage of it. I ain't gonna get into particulars and specifics, but yeah, I know what's going on with, yeah, I know what's going on. But yeah, at its core, I became more observant, and for that very reason, I will continue to people watch, if you will. I continue to put myself in their shoes and treat their direct lessons as something to learn from this. And even in my life, not even things that I come across or my interactions with people, like my friends, people that I love, when there's a disagreement or when there's a miscommunication, unfortunately, but I guess sometimes fortunately, sometimes that keeps me up at night. Like, why am I in this situation? Or why did that situation happen? What could I learn from this? What could I learn from that? What could I learn from my sister being mad at me? What did I do wrong? Like, those types of things. I don't like going back and forth, Who does when you realize it could all have been resolved with a simple "I'm sorry" or "my bad" or just not cracking jokes at that time. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll continue to people watch because of the inherent benefit of not going through the pain or hardship of a negative outcome. And with that, there's always going to be a lesson to learn. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Short podcast, words of encouragement, things that I think about. According to Wes, the best Wes, trying to be the best me, always striving for that. But truly thank you guys for tuning in just for this little, I don't know what you call this, daily affirmations. I don't know, It's not a daily affirmation. I figure it out. Well, I thank you for tuning in. See you next time.